Welcome back to another episode of the RePlay podcast. Today, I have a good friend, realtor, investor, loan officer, business development, all the above. Leslie, welcome to the show. How are you?
Hello, I'm happy to be here. We haven't done anything together since...
It's been a while.
I don't even think I could legally drink the
No,
last time that we
100%.
did content together.
it was that long.
It's been a long time.
I think it was in my living room, right? Or my
kitchen.
kitchen.
It was in your living room in your first house.
Yes.
You had your baby shower there for your first. It was before you even had kids.
Yeah,
now
I
you're
didn't have
like
any kids.
on your 86th one or something.
I hope four. We're going on 4 now.
I hope they're athletes. Like one of them has to make it to the Olympics. You
Something, right?
have 4 tries.
Right?
Like you
Like
got
they
it.
have to be.
They have to do something. At least one.
I want to tell people how we first met. First of all, tell them how old you were, because you were like a baby.
Yeah.
You were 18, right? 18?
Yeah, I was 18.
As a realtor.
Mm-hmm.
And we met, where was it? At a coffee shop.
Yeah,
Mothership.
Mothership. We still have a picture, a selfie. If I can find it, I'll send it to you. So you can put it here.
Yes.
And
we took
people
a selfie.
can see. Yeah, we took a selfie. I don't know if I want them to see, but yeah, we'll let them see.
So I want to talk about like your pre-story. Where are you from? Let's talk about where you're from first. How long have you been here? And just tell us a little bit about your story, how you got here and all that good stuff.
Okay, perfect. And then before I get into that, I want to say, I don't think I've ever told you this before, but when I was 18 and got into real estate and we met up for coffee, you were actually the first loan officer that I ever grabbed coffee with.
Yes.
And I think you might have been the first that even asked me out to coffee, because I don't think anyone else believed that I would make it in the industry.
I knew you would, 100%.
So they didn't think it was worth it to grab coffee. So
assholes.
I know, assholes. Look at me now. Like,
yeah,
where are
look
they?
at her now.
Yeah, where are they?
Yeah.
But yeah, just thank you for that. Now back to me.
Yeah.
So I've moved from El Salvador to Vegas at 9. I've been here since I was 9.
Mm-hmm.
I did go to UNLV, so I have a bachelor's in finance and then a minor in German. And then I got into real estate at 18 and just kind of never really used my degree. So that's
You're like, nah.
Yeah, no. Well, I looked into it. I wanted to go into Wall Street.
Okay.
I really, really love numbers and I love just all that stuff gets me excited.
Yeah.
So I thought I was going to end up in New York in Wall Street being a finance girl.
Okay.
And then I got into real estate and I got my bachelor's at 20. So I graduated really, really young. And I applied to these jobs in like LinkedIn and Indeed. And I got one call back. And so I was like, hey, I don't mean to be rude. Like, I know this is not the usual etiquette, but how much are you guys going to pay me? Like, before I even sat down, because I just needed to know.
I don't want to waste your guys' time.
I was like, well, I don't want to waste my time.
Yeah.
They're probably on salary. They don't care if I waste their time.
Yeah, 100%.
But they were like, yeah, it's going to be like 65 and you get 2 weeks of vacation. And I was like, I'm good. I withdraw my application. I'm good.
You're
we're
like,
going to
see
stay.
you later.
Yeah, we're going to stay in real estate.
Yeah.
And your wife took my graduation pictures.
Yep, I remember that.
Maddie.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was some fun stuff. And then after that, I got into investing.
Okay. Wait, before that, what brought you to the United States from El Salvador?
Family moved here, and then I just kind of ended up in Vegas, and I always thought I would move away.
Yeah.
And I don't know, there's something about Vegas that I think
that draws you.
Yeah, that just kind of keeps you here.
Yep.
And I think I travel quite a lot. I think now even when I travel, I'm always like, well, in Vegas, the food would be better. Or in Vegas, you know,
the hospitality would be nicer.
Hospitality. You know, you're spoiled in Vegas when you go somewhere, and I'm like, is everyone rude? Or is it just not Vegas, right? Like everyone just looks, I don't know, like normal and average, and there's something about Vegas where everything's just grand.
Like, it's bigger,
just grand,
yes.
bigger, better. I don't know. It just is. So I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. Okay. So now, you're here. You graduated at 20, but in between, I remember you left to Germany.
Yeah, I
Talk to
did
us
go to
about Germany.
Germany.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Germany was this is gonna sound so cliche, and I remember when I was getting ready to study abroad, they held these orientations for us because there's so many things like you wouldn't think about. For example, when you get there, you might not even be able to charge your phone unless you got a converter. Right? Because you're traveling, the outlets are going to be different.
Yes.
So they had all these little orientations to kind of get us prepared for going out there. And they had previous people that had studied abroad come in. And they would all say, oh, I swear it was the best time of my life, life-changing, best time of my life. And I just kept thinking, well, yeah, we're paying like several $1,000s to do this. So, of course, you're going to tell me that it's the best time of my life. But now that 4 years have passed by since I've studied abroad, and I would like to say it's still the best time of my life.
They are right. It was the best time.
Not sponsored by UNLV or anything, but it was the best time of my life. And I think it opened up my mind to a bigger world. And it really taught me just how to survive and how to be smart. Because if you get thrown, so I did it when I was 20. So if you're 20, you get thrown into a country that you know nothing about, I feel like another part of your brain kind of turns on and you're like, okay, because even small things like going to the grocery store and looking for something, if you don't know what any of the labels are saying, it can get very
like little things.
Little things that you take, for granted. And also, I think it opened me up to like walkable cities. I think that's something that we're really, really lacking here. And I'm really interested to see as real estate continues to increase in price and it becomes less and less affordable, if we'll have more walkable cities. But in Germany, I didn't have to drive. It just wasn't necessary because from where I lived, it was a 20-minute walk to the town center where we had an H&M. So anytime I got homesick, I'd go to H&M because they all look exactly the same and they all have the same inventory. And it's like at H&M, you can cure your homesickness for like $7.99,
I know this place.
Just buy a scarf that you're going to wear once and it's going to fall apart. But it's fine. It's it made me feel like America.
Let's do this.
Let's do this.
What part of Germany were you in?
I was in Lüneburg, which was by Hamburg. So I was in a very, very small town, mostly college town. And it was just a ton of fun. But I loved being able to walk everywhere or bike everywhere. And I think
I saw you biking a lot in your
I love biking. Because think about this, right? In a 30-minute drive, what am I going to get? In a 30-minute drive, I'm going to get upset that some a-hole cut me off.
That's true.
I'm upset that there's traffic. I'm upset that, it brings me down, a 30-minute drive. But a 30-minute bike ride, I'm going to see a little kid playing with his family. I'm going to see a cute old couple holding hands. I'm actually moving my body, the smell, the sight. I'm not annoyed that someone's cutting me off. There is no traffic. So you're more connected to your community. I think it really, really builds community. Or when you talk about public transportation, like over there, doctors would also take the bus, right? Everyone's taking the bus. So when you have people from different socioeconomic status utilizing the public transportation system, there's a bigger incentive to actually invest in it. Whereas I feel like here, they're like, well, the only people taking it are probably the people that aren't paying a lot of money in taxes. So who cares about them? I think that's more of like a American culture mentality that just was not a thing over there. We were all just hanging out in the bus. And do you think like the doctors, they have conversations with just random Given Germans don't like small talk, so I'm sure if they saw each other every day, eventually they would open up. But no, in Germany, if you go up to someone, you're like, hey, they're gonna go, what do you need? Like, what do you
but they're
want?
not being rude. It's just like
no, it just is. They're not being rude because that's another thing here, where we have this a weird level of fake politeness where I'm going to be like, oh, Ivan, come over for dinner one day, right? And if you actually show up the next day at my front door and you're like, hey, I'm here for dinner, like, I'm going to be like, oh, I didn't actually mean like come over for dinner. I was just being sweet and polite. And you're supposed to smile and say, haha, maybe one day I'll go over for dinner. And we can just have this surface level of fake politeness. Whereas in Germany, if someone was like, come over to my house for dinner, they actually expected you to go over to their house for dinner because they would never make, you know, such a request just for the sake of it.
Just to be nice.
Just to be nice.
It's like,
no, there is no such thing. There's no like such thing as just be nice. People don't care enough to just be nice. So when they're actually nice, it's genuine. And the people that I met in Germany, like to this day, we're still friends. Yeah. Like those friendships have lasted.
That's awesome. Yeah. So how long were you there for?
I was there for about 4 months and then COVID hit. So I was supposed to be there and I came back. Yeah. So that's how I ended up back here and then jumped right back into real estate and then ended up in house flipping that same year.
So walk me through. So, okay, you came back. We did a few deals while you were gone because you had like 2 or 3 clients.
Yeah.
And then so you come back and you're like from this whole high of like Germany and traveling. And then so how did you so you got right back into real estate, but how did the whole flipping come about? Talk to us about that.
Oh, that's an interesting story right there. Okay, so I think I actually talked about this story the last time we did content, which was my first client ever was an investor off Craigslist. So when I got into real estate, I was 18. I didn't have friends that were buying houses. They were all 18 and broke, just like me. So I was like, who doesn't care about the realtor? Like, who cares about the deal and the numbers? So while most realtors were trying to get clients, I was trying to find the perfect deal that was on the market on the MLS because I knew that if I had this perfect deal, I could probably find a buyer. So I was doing things almost backwards. And that's how I got my first client off Craigslist. It was just a house that I had posted on Craigslist and been like calling all investors. Like, this seems like a great deal. And this guy from California actually called me and said, oh, that is a great deal. I want to buy it.
So you ran the numbers. Like
I would run my own numbers. Leslie. Yeah, because I had a degree in finance. So I already had this background of really, really understanding numbers, like understanding return, things like inflation, which now everybody understands. But even before everybody understood, before it was cool, I understood, hey, if you have $100 today in a year, those $100 are worth a lot less. So if you're just putting all your money in a savings account, it's really actually decreasing in value.
Not a savings account.
Every year. It's not a savings account. It's a Rodaway account. Rodaway account. Yeah. So
that gives you 0.001
whatever it is.
Return,
Well, actually right now they're a little bit better because interest rates are high, but it's still not enough to keep up with the inflation. No. So originally, when I was a realtor, a lot of my clients were investors. And what ended up happening was, and I still remember this deal to this day, and I wish I had, well, we'll get into it. So I had found this deal, and it was a house for $100,000. It was listed at $100,000. Ended up
what area?
It was in probably Lake Mead and Hollywood. It was all the way up east side. And it was the lowest price house on the market. It had been a manufactured home converted into real property. I negotiated that down to $80,000, right? The resale value of that was $220,000. And I knew
with no love or nothing put into it. Just
no. With about $40,000 put into it.
So you were in 120 the deal.
Yeah, 120, and then you should get 220 back. So you have a $100,000 spread.
That's a nice.
So
spread.
that's a nice spread. That's a deal. So I get this deal locked up at $80,000. I have my investor. That investor gets cold feet, backs out, says I don't want it. Right. So I'm like, you know what? And on a $80,000 house, how big is the commission?
Yeah, it's not big enough.
It's nothing. It's like, what was it? 2,000 maybe tops. But I love money. So I'm still sad about this 2,000. I'm like, man, I don't get my 2,000. What the heck? I love money. There's one thing about me. I love money. So I'm kind of bummed out, that I put this amazing deal together and this person backed out. So I sent over the cancellation to the other realtor. And then about 30 minutes later, a light bulb turns on and I'm like, this is a great deal. I can just sell it to another investor. Why did I cancel? I can just assign the contract. Because when you have a contract in Nevada, in the contract, it says that you're allowed to assign that contract to whoever you want. So if I'm buying a house right now and I'm like, you know what, I don't like it. But then you're like, oh my God, that's my dream home. I can just hand over the contract to you instead of canceling and starting all over again. So I'm like, you know what? I can just assign it to this guy. So I call my friend and he's like, I want this deal right now. Like, I'm ready to sign. I'm ready to wire the money. Like, I need this. This is a great, fantastic find. So I called the listing agent and I'm like, hey, remember that cancellation I sent over? Maybe just ignore that.
Yeah, disregard, please.
Yeah, just disregard. I don't know what I was talking about. Disregard. And he's like, Leslie, I know you worked really hard on this. I am so sorry. We just accepted another offer about 2 minutes ago and everything's signed before you called. So I'm like, oh, that sucks, because now I'm thinking, okay, I lost a 2,000 from that, and then when it would have relisted at 200,000, I could have probably made another $4,000 or something. So I'm like thinking like, oh, that's 6,000. That's a lot of dinners. For a year.
A lot of hangouts.
Yeah, I'm like 6,000. That might be an Italy trip. So. And I'm completely bummed out, and I'm sitting at the desk, and at this point, I'm still living on the east side too, actually. And I am making money in real estate, but I am super, 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 super frugal. So I have all this money stashed away in a savings account. And then I sit down and think about it and go, why didn't I just buy the house? Like, I really sat down there and thought, I'm sad over $6,000 where there was $100,000 to be made. And all I had to do was take all the money in my savings and then just bet on myself. And then I really pondered on that for a while, and my head was spinning, and I was like, I don't know any flippers that are 20, and none of them are women for sure. I was like, how do I even do this? How do I start? But I knew I didn't want to miss out on something like that again. And that's when it clicked that I was working for these investors and I was making maybe this much, which I was fine with because, like I said, I love money. But I could be making this much if I just bet on myself. So after that, the second step to it kind of happened at your house, but I don't think you know this. That's where I met my mentor.
Oh,
yeah, I don't know if I can name him. I'll tell you after.
Okay. All right, perfect. So wait, you met him at an open house?
No,
was it at my?
No, I met you at one of your parties for one of your kids, or it might have been your birthday party. But so I have this thought in my head where I'm like, you know what? Before I turn 21, I'm gonna flip a house. I don't care if I lose all my money. I'm gonna do it. And nobody can stop me, and nobody can get this thought out of my head. So I kept my life going as normal. I think it was actually your birthday. You invited me for your birthday, and I know it was for your birthday. You know how? I posted an Instagram story of us singing happy birthday, and I think my friend said, why is everyone there so attractive? I think for one of your birthday parties, like everyone just looked great. So it was there actually. So I was there for your birthday. I was like maybe one margarita in, and someone was like, is that Leslie Sells Vegas? And I'm like, who are you? Like, I don't know who you are. And then I was calling my mentor. He was like, well, I'm such and such. And I'm like, oh, you're the guy that flips houses. And I was like, hey, sorry, I didn't recognize you. Like, you don't have any pictures of your face on Instagram. I think his Instagram profile picture was like the beach or something. So I was like, you look like the ocean, I guess. Like, I didn't know. So I told him, I'm going to flip a house. We need to get coffee because I am going to flip a house. And I don't think he took me seriously like 100%, but just being polite, he's like, you know what? It's okay. We'll get coffee. And I think he set it up for 7 a.m. or 8 a.m.
Something early.
Super, super early. And I was there ready to go. And I said, okay, what do you need from me? And he said, all I need is for you to find the deal. Everything else, I will walk you through it. So it took me about 2 months to find a deal. And then finally, I found something on the MLS. It was this.
Wait, pause right there. You find a lot of your deals on the MLS.
Yes.
Okay. That's awesome.
I would say, the juiciest deals, the really, really juicy, are not going to be on the MLS. But I think you can still find some pretty good deals on the MLS, especially if you see value where other people don't see value and you really, really understand that end buyer.
Yep.
Like right now, for example, I know if I flip a house and I put it up for sale at $500,000, at $500,000, that client can go and buy a brand new house.
Yeah.
They can. That's just
with
the way it is. With
a
low interest rate, closing costs covered, all that. And here I have my flip that's an older home, maybe remodeled at $500,000. So why would they pick my house as opposed to a brand new build, right? Maybe my house has a pool. Maybe my house doesn't have an HOA. Maybe my house is a ranch style property. Those are things that you have to understand, like truly understand it. So I understood when buying that house on the MLS, I really, really saw the value and understood the type of person that would purchase that house from me.
Yep.
So I sent that over to him. He said, this is a great deal. Lock it up. I negotiated. This was when the market was super hot.
What was it listed at?
Oh, the numbers of my first flip. It was at 200,000.
Okay, and then what was going to be the ARV or after repair
I
value?
think we got it. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. I wish I would have bought my little notebook, my resume. But that one we bought for 200,000 or less, and then it sold for 300,000 or more.
Okay,
and really where the great value add was the pool. And most investors assumed that because the pool was drained and it looked kind of messed up, that they would have to redo everything. But actually, the pool was fine. We just had to fill it back up with water.
Oh, that's
nice. So that's nice. So that could our rehab cost a lot. So you have to, just see things that other people might miss and really, really understand your end, who's going to buy this house from you? How are you going to make money on this? So that's how my first flip happened.
So if you're comfortable, how much did you make on your first flip?
First flip, it was like around 45.
That's nice.
And then obviously it was between me and my mentor. So I didn't get to keep the full 45. But that was nice to see, that amount of money.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. So you got your first flip at 20 years old. 20 years old. Okay. And then, so I'm trying to see where I want to take the conversation because you've done so much. You're doing so much still.
I would say PG-13.
Yeah.
That's my only request. Aside from that, take it anywhere.
Keep it PG. Okay. So now, okay. You took a detour. And you got into lending.
I've taken a ton of detours, but I don't call them detours. I call them side quests.
Okay. Talk to me about the side quests. What was your thought process about becoming a loan officer lender? And talk to me about that. Like 3 months leading up to making that decision, what was going through your head?
Okay. What was going through my head?
Yeah.
Got it.
Because you're doing pretty well in real estate.
In real estate. Yeah, I was doing extremely well in real estate.
Yeah.
So I was doing really, really well in real estate. I was getting a lot of clients and I was just having a really, really tough time being able to get them pre-approved to the point where I was like, you know what? I bet I could do these pre-approvals.
I got this.
That's kind of like how the flipping thing went, where I was like, you know what? I bet I could flip a house. I was like, I think I could do the pre-approval.
Yeah, yeah.
And I didn't. It almost started off as like not being completely serious. Like, you know, when you do something just to see, like if
Just to prove to yourself, like, I could do this.
I could do this, but not, you know, like if, you know, it was almost like if you put in $1 at a slot machine, but you don't actually expect to win. Like, you're just kind of.
And then you hit the lotto.
Yeah,
and
and
like,
then you
oh
hit
my
the lotto.
gosh,
Yeah,
I
like,
did it.
what's going on? I did it. So for me was, you know, I don't know if they, you know, whoever's watching this knows this, but the loan officer exam is really hard. It's not an easy thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
I think it has a 50% failure rate.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, if you take it your second time, the failure rate is even higher.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So just not an easy thing to do. And at that point, I was flipping. I was a realtor. Had a lot going on. So my studying for that exam was watching some woman on YouTube.
The black lady?
Yes, yes, her. What is her name? Shout out to that woman.
From Affinity or something like that?
I don't know who she is, but you know what?
She's awesome.
Maybe we can be her competitors. Me and you need to make some how to pass the exam videos.
She does really, really well.
She does really, really well. And then you can buy the course, you know, and all that. Yep. I didn't buy the course, but I was like, these videos are really good. Why is it free?
Yeah.
There's always a course. There's always a course.
There's always a further option to buy.
You know, but I wasn't going to do that. So I just watched a few of those videos, kind of went in and took it. When I take exams, I am a true believer of trusting your gut and your instinct and just shutting off your brain and going for it.
Okay.
So when I went in to take the exam, it was actually both me and Zalo took it, and we had this agreement, right? Because we knew, so just a little bit of background, me and Zalo's my business partner, and we had a real estate team together. Yeah. So the idea originally was it was just going to be loans for the team and for people that we knew. And we didn't know who wanted to do it, either him or me. We both went in and took the exam. I got out about like 20 minutes after, like I sat down and then I completed it. Minutes. And then it took me 20 minutes because I'm just going off, you know, I'm not going to overthink it. You either know it or you don't know it. And if you don't know it, just mark one and keep it moving.
Yep.
So I got out after 20 minutes, and then 2 hours later, he called me, and he's like, man, I failed. He's like, you left after 20 minutes. Like, when do you want to retake this? I was like, oh, I passed. It's like, I'm a loan officer now. I don't know about you, but I'm good. It's settled. So he's like,
I got this.
How did you even do that? I was like, I don't know. So after that, I was like, you know what? Let me just test it out. And then I did a couple loans. I was like, okay, this is pretty interesting, pretty good. And that's how I ended up in that. And then eventually it was like, okay, you either do full-time realtor or full-time loan officer. And then I lean more towards the loan officer side. But,
and then you decided I'm going to be a full-time loan officer.
Yeah.
So then walk me through that thought process too, like where you said, because there came a point where you're like, okay, I want to get back into investing. I want to get back into real estate. And we had that conversation, and I was like, oh, I am so glad that you now know what loan officers go through.
I know.
What was that conversation with us?
Yes, we talked about, because as a realtor, I think you're a little bit spoiled.
Yeah.
It's a struggle still, but a different type of struggle.
Yes.
I think at this point, I just need to go into title for a few months, and I will have completed the
everything,
the trifecta. Yeah. But I think the beauty of being a loan officer is that you get to educate people.
Yes.
And I don't know how to word this nicely. And
I
guess the pain in the butt part of being a loan officer is that not everybody wants to be educated, actually. Yeah. Not everyone wants to be saved.
Yeah. They want to be in the streets.
They want to be in the streets, literally. Like, I felt like when I was a loan officer, I was like, please let me save you, please. And then the type of things that you see, you're like,
you shouldn't be doing that.
They want to be saved?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like,
yes.
I don't know. Do they want to be saved? The things that you see, like, oh, man, I don't know if we're allowed to talk about that, but yeah, the things that you see as a loan officer, it's such a intimate view into someone's life.
Yep.
You really, really do get to know everything about them. But just a quick story, and then if it's not allowed, cut it out. But
it is.
I actually had a client, and he wasn't my client. His parents were my client.
Okay.
But they had co-signed on a car for him. You already
Okay.
know where this is going,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
dad, being a good dad, is like, hey, you want to take out this $800 a month truck, although you're not a fully responsible adult. I gotcha.
I love you.
I love you. I got it. So dad takes out this truck for him, right? A year later, they're trying to buy a house. I'm like, you're good to buy a house, but we need to get rid of this $800 truck. And he's like, okay, cool. Yeah, my son pays that. I'm like, oh, great. Easy peasy. Connect me to your son, right?
Yes.
I get connected to his son. His son would pay the truck sometimes. Like half of the time it was late,
Oh my
right?
God.
And B, how do I know this? Because we have to look at the bank statements. And B, half of the months, his bank account was overdrawn and he had all these like OF
Oh
and
my
all
God.
these
Jeez.
charges. And I was like,
What is this guy
I
doing?
was like, what is this guy doing? I feel like
Oh
in
my
the
God.
hierarchy of needs, right? Shelter, food. Like, is it, I feel like now it's like OF,
Yeah.
shelter, food. I don't know, but
Utilities.
just utilities. So, just after dealing with that, I'm like, you know what? Loan officers, they're saints.
Yeah.
They're angels
Yeah.
because you really, really do get to see everything. Or even, I think marriage, it was a really, really big one. I
Yeah.
don't think I realized how much it would change your life if you
Yeah.
got married. Obviously, we all know it's a legal thing,
Mhm.
but I think people don't realize that either until they're trying to buy a house, right? If you're in a community property state like Nevada, if you buy a house, well, guess what? Your spouse also technically bought a house,
Mhm.
and you get things like FHA loans. You have to look at the debt of both people, and sometimes
regardless if they're on the loan or not.
yeah, regardless of if they're on the loan or not. So I would get clients like that all the time. Well, I don't trust him. I don't know what's gonna happen. That's your husband. What do you mean?
Yeah. You kind of needed.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know. I mean, it's like, I was like, I'm not Albert Einstein or anything, but it seems like that is the one person you should trust. Like,
Yes,
I'm like, I'm not,
100%.
I'm not a rocket scientist, but like, if you're married, you're kind of in it together.
Yep. You're stuck.
Yeah, you're stuck.
Yes.
So I got to see, all that. I even had a client that was going through a divorce, and he had also co-signed on a car for his ex-wife. What did the ex-wife start to do? Making late payments. So his credit score kept dropping and dropping. Like just things like that.
Yeah.
I don't think people realize
It's so
how
important.
important it is, just how important. And I always tell people, and I might sound crazy because of this, I posted this on an Instagram reel and a guy commented, "You're not even that cute anyways to be saying all this." I clicked on his profile. I was like, who are you? Because
Yeah.
you're following me and I'm not following you, and you look like a fan. And I was like, thanks for the engagement, I guess.
Yeah.
I was
Thank
like,
you.
thanks. Do you want to go on a date? I don't know. So, but what I said was, if you're going to get married and you're very financially literate and you have dreams and aspirations of maybe owning a home, owning a business, doing anything that's going to require good credit, maybe just look at that Credit Karma app.
Yeah.
Like, when women go through their man's phone and they check the text and Instagram, look at that Credit Karma app. I don't care about the text and Instagram DMs. You need to look at the bank statements.
Oh
you need to
my
look at that
God,
Credit
yes,
Karma
yes,
app.
yeah.
Back to the hierarchy of needs. You need to
Yes.
have your levels ready.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I said, if you're going to get married, look at that credit. Another
Yeah.
thing that I've heard from a few CPA friends is if they owe money to the IRS and you file a return together, guess what?
It's gone.
You might owe money to the
Yeah.
IRS. Like, let's say hypothetical world, me and you are married. You owe the IRS $100,000, right? And maybe I'm due back a $10,000 refund. Do you think I'm gonna get my refund?
Nope.
I'm not getting
No.
my refund
You're not
because
getting
you owe
shit.
$100,
Yeah.
right?
It gets taken out.
And people just don't realize that. So if
Yeah.
you're gonna get married, credit check, background check, and do they owe the IRS money?
That's why it's good to have, like, I think in that aspect, marriage counseling, right? Before
Yeah.
you get married, hey, talk about your finances. Talk about what are you guys trying to do. Talk about your debts. Talk about your assets. How is that going to be divided in this picture, or how is it going to be attacked or strategically ran, right?
Yeah.
Who's going to be the finance person, who's not. So yeah, for me in my business, I do enough with loans that I don't want to manage our finances or manage our bank accounts or anything like that. So Maddie is the
a
one.
household engineer.
Yes, she's the one like, okay, we have this coming in, debt's going here, blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, all right, great. I don't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
Something less. So now
You're like one of those Japanese men that gets home and gives their wife the full check.
Yes, exactly.
I love
100%.
that. I love that.
That's exactly here, babe.
Great training.
Yes,
I love that. Great training.
You know where this money needs to go, but I don't ask if I can buy stuff. That
you have trust.
Yeah,
you
100%.
actually have trust.
Yeah.
You're not like, one of those people that tries to buy. I don't see Maddie buying a house and be like, I don't want Ivan to find out about this.
Or I'm buying a car and he's not going to know.
Yeah, she's not going to know.
Yeah, nothing like that. So you were in loans. And you just joined the team. Congratulations.
Yes.
Welcome, not congratulations. Welcome.
I think we should have started with that.
I know,
me joining
right?
the team. We just built, and then the build-up wasn't even that good. We'll try again.
Yeah.
I joined the team.
Congratulations.
Woo!
Thank you so much. No,
me and Ivan are on the dark side together.
Yeah. You decided you said, because we had this conversation like, I don't know if I want to do loans anymore. I was like, hey, look, you're great at people, you're great at developing relationships, and you're awesome to talk to. I said, hey, look, why don't you just take on like a separate type of role where you're still kind of doing loans, but not really doing loans. You're more like in a business development stage where the branch will close your loans for you. And so we've joined forces, right? But
I love that because my thing has always been education.
Yeah.
I love just putting content out, and I actually had a video. And that person DM'd me and said, I just want you to know that this reel like changed my life.
That's awesome.
And that reel was that you don't need to be at one job for 2 years to buy a house.
Nope.
So there was this woman that had literally was like 1 year into her job and was thinking that she had to wait another year, although she was ready to go and ready to buy. And we're talking about a college educated individual, and she just didn't know this. And the way that she found out was scrolling through Instagram, came across my video. So, things like that, I genuinely it brings me joy.
Yeah, it's what you like to do. That's what we talked about. And I was like, hey, look, continue doing what you're doing. You could focus on your investing because now you've kind of taken a new role to grow your investments, right?
Yes.
Like continue.
Yes.
How many houses are you guys flipping right now?
Right now we're at 5.
5 houses.
Yeah. And we definitely want to increase that. I just have such a vision for the company, and I truly, truly believe in it 1,000%.
Yeah.
And I think I'm the type of person that I will always bet my last dollar on myself.
Yep.
And I think, that the way that I see money is maybe not the way that the other people see money, and I don't see it with this attachment. I think most people have a really, really strong attachment to money and to things, to material. You've seen it. Most people are hoarders.
Yeah.
If you're a realtor, it'll take you about a month to realize that most people are hoarders.
Yeah.
And most people don't have a healthy relationship with money.
Yeah.
The way that I see money, and this is just me, is when I get a dollar, right? If you gave me a dollar right now, I'm not going to babysit that dollar. I'm not going to keep it safe and cuddle it and put it to sleep and look at it and hope it rests.
You're going to pimp that shit out.
I'm setting it to war. I'm setting it to war.
Like, I'm pimping this shit out.
It might come back. It might not come back. But if it comes back, it's going to come back with a few extra dollars. And I think it's so liberating. And I think you have had to have, like, I've had a crazy life. I'm not going to get into the podcast for that. For that, we need a book.
Yeah,
For that, we need a TV special. But, dude, I've lived a life. And I think when you've lived a life and you've had nothing and you had it all and you've had nothing again and just all that, you kind of learn that you can always get it back.
Yep.
You can always rebuild.
You really can, yeah.
And once you understand that, it's like the possibilities are limited. Like, you can do anything.
Yep.
You really could do anything. And even if you suck at it, it's fine. Just go find something that you don't suck at. That's just life. So I really want to scale Zoll to be at least one of the top 5 flippers here in Vegas. I want to also have a really strong wholesaling division. I've been looking at kind of the marketing that my competitors do. So this is the way I think. I just You know what I did? I love ads. I
Okay.
love ads. I know most people hate ads. Ads tell me if I'm living my life right.
Okay.
If I go on YouTube and I get an ad about yoga workout clothes or something about fitness, I'm like, okay, I'm living it right. Now, if I start to get ads that are just like a Wendy's, Happy Meal, I'm like, what have I been doing lately
Yeah,
that they
what have
think
I been eating?
Yeah, that they think this is the type of person I am.
Yeah, yeah.
So for flipping, I literally look up sell my house cash Las Vegas. I'm getting divorced, need to sell. Inherited a house, I need to sell. And I'll put all that into my algorithm so I can see the ads that all the other flippers and everyone else is running, because I'm programming my phone to be like what my customer's phone looks like, because I really want to put myself in their shoes.
And see what
So I've
pops
been
out.
doing all types of behind the scenes market research and kind of
So like your A and B testing kind of thing.
yeah, I am.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. So you're essentially training your phone to give you the ads from your competitors, and you're going to see what stands out or
Yes.
what needs to be better so that you can do it.
And I've yet to see a woman in any of the ads.
Okay.
Actually, they're all men.
Yeah.
So I get to see things like that. That's always fun. We had our first meetup last month.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
have
yeah.
another one. Someone didn't go.
Sorry,
Can
I'm
we
go-
do a
I'm-
womp
I'm-
womp womp
yeah.
sound over this, please? Some people came, others didn't.
Yeah, I will be there the next one. I'm sorry. Yes,
But we
yes.
did have our first meetup, and that was really, really successful as well. We've gotten a few leads and a few deals out of that. So we want to grow that as well.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, just a lot of exciting things
Yeah,
happening.
yeah.
I don't know. I feel like real estate's the easiest way to make money.
100%.
1,000%.
Yes.
It's the easiest way to make money. And, don't get me wrong, as someone that studied finance, I love stocks, I love bonds, I understand all that. But there's something about seeing an actual house
Yeah.
that just makes me feel a little bit better.
Yeah.
It just gives me more flexibility.
So now, what price point are you focusing on right now? Because you were talking about like the 500K, you might get like a new build to compete with. So what's like your bread and butter right now?
Yeah, so bread and butter right now is 400,000 ARB, which means like once the house is remodeled and we relist it.
Yep.
So I usually like to be at 400,000 or less,
Okay.
because at that point you're not competing with brand new homes.
Yeah.
Now there are some exceptions to this, right? If I have a house in Summerlin that's a 4-bedroom and has a pool, I'll buy that house, right? For the right price. Why? Because I'm not really competing with a new build. If someone wants a pool, they can't buy a new house,
Nope.
right? Or if I have, let's say, a duplex or something like that, I know that if I get a duplex, I'm going to be the only duplex on market probably once I relist, because
Yep.
it's just such a rare type of property.
Yeah.
So I'm focusing on anything that I don't have to compete with new builds
Yep.
on, or just properties that are really, really unique
Mm-hmm.
that you wouldn't be able to get from a builder.
Yeah. Now, you were about to close one of your first deals with us at Loan Depot.
Yes.
And talk to us about why that one's kind of special, and the sisters and the Mendieta sisters. And,
Oh,
and talk to us about
I'm sure
that.
you've had the pleasure of chatting with
Yes,
them.
they're awesome, by the way.
They're
Yeah.
so smart.
They are very.
Yes, super smart. So we actually have our clients who are first-time investors, and our realtor Selena sent them over because she thought I would be able to walk them through everything. And oh my God, when we first talked on the phone, we talked for probably about an hour, because they wanted to know, should I buy a house and put it in an LLC?
Yeah.
And you know this answer. If you have a mortgage, can't really put it in an LLC.
Yep.
So they had they were just so curious, which I love. And they decided that between the two sisters, that they would go and buy an investment property in Las Vegas and kind of start building that legacy.
Yep.
And they have, which
Yeah.
is just amazing, because I know, and you know this too, that in 10 to 15 years, that house is going to be worth double.
Yep.
And
Easily.
I always think, you know what? They could have bought two houses, 10 to 15 years, sell one and finish paying the other one off.
Yeah.
I always just think of, I'm like, actually, we need to call them up. They only
Buy
bought
another one.
one.
Yeah.
I'm like, I have a better idea.
Buy another one.
Buy another one.
Yeah.
Buy two.
Yes.
But it's just so nice, especially because I know, they're women. They're also Latinas.
Yeah.
And it's just so refreshing to know. And they were using terms with me that I knew that they had gone on YouTube
done some
and
research.
watched
Yeah.
some videos and educated themselves. And that just makes me excited because really, how much trash content do people consume all the time, every day? And if you look, like I always look at my screen time on my phone, right? If you look at the average person's screen time, it'll be like 8 hours. And if I ask them, well, what did you learn in 8 hours? Probably that you're broker and uglier than most people and that you hate yourself. Like you actually didn't learn anything insightful.
Nothing.
You haven't made, any changes. So it's really nice when we get clients like that and I can almost hear that they watch some type of guru on YouTube and then we just have to fine tune, right? Because whatever you hear on YouTube, a lot of times it's just complete baloney.
Yep.
And, we'll get people that are like, well, I heard the Biden or something is passing such thing. I'm like, dude, that's a bill that was introduced. That doesn't mean it was passed or implemented.
Yeah,
but
it was introduced, not passed.
Yeah, it was introduced, not passed. But we could get into the governmental system in another video, the checks and balances and the Supreme Court. But yeah.
Yes. Oh man. So okay, now what do you have next for the rest of this year? What's going on with Leslie?
What's going on?
Wait, first of all, let's talk about your vacation.
Oh,
where are you going?
Does that get put in here too?
Yeah, 100%. Where are you going Saturday, right? You said?
Yeah, I'm leaving Saturday. So
where are we going?
it's going to be a special one. South Africa to see some penguins.
That's awesome.
I know, it's so random.
Yeah.
So it really kind of started.
But literally, no, wait. I've been watching your Instagram these past probably like month and a half, and everything's been random with you.
Yes,
Like,
everything
you're all
has
over the
been.
place.
I am all over the. I'm telling you, side quests, as many side quests as you can go on. I'm like, I don't know. I just think. I know I'm really young. I'm 24. I'm hoping to make it to 100, but I think time passes by so fast and most people just never get to do anything that they really wanted, and that is my biggest fear. Like, it's just living an average life. I've never ever give me the best, or I'll even take the worst, but don't give me don't give me average. Give me an experience, a ride. I need to cry and laugh, and I need everything in between. So
all that shit.
All that. So penguins, me and penguins go a long way back.
Okay.
So when we talked about me moving to Vegas, I moved here at 9, right? Mm-hmm. And I had a teacher. She was like a teacher assistant, and she was the one that was kind of teaching me English and teaching me how to pronounce things. And I remember one day she just got me a plush penguin, like a huge plush penguin, and was like, oh, I just saw this at the store and thought of you because I had written my research paper on penguins. We had like the science project, so mine was on penguins. I always love penguins. And then I think that gesture just made me love penguins more. Like, they became kind of this comfort thing. And as I got older, I learned more about, penguin society, and they have one mate for life. And the male penguin will actually go and grab a pebble and give it to the female penguin, and if she accepts, then they're a pair, and they'll be a pair for life. And just how complex and interesting that their society is. So I became like a complete penguin freak. I feel like you're not allowed to have like a favorite animal once you're an adult, but I do. I don't care. So in my house, I have like a penguin cocktail shaker.
Okay.
Like, I have whatever you can think of. Penguin, I probably have it. Okay. Penguin.
Wait, so are these penguins you're going to go see, is it going to be cold or hot?
Okay, so it's going to be cold, but they're there during the heat too. So really, my dream has always been to see penguins in the wild. I've seen them in zoos before. Yeah. But it makes me sad. I'm like, they're prisoners.
Yes.
Set them free. I'm like, they need to be like dancing like in Happy Feet or something. Like, they're just there depressed. So it's always been my dream. Like, okay, I want to just see them, in the wild. Obviously, you can go to Antarctica and see them in the wild. Or actually, you can go to Simonstown, South Africa, which is also called Penguins Town.
Okay.
There's a Netflix documentary that just came out about it. And essentially, they have about 2,000 penguins. And the penguins go and mate there. So you just have little baby penguins running around the town, like the streets. They're just everywhere. And that's what they're known for. So once I found out, oh my God, there's a town literally called Penguins Town.
Yeah.
And it's all penguins. I had this in my head, like, okay, I have to make it out there sometime. I don't know. I just have to get there. And actually, when I first met my boyfriend, he asked, like, well, what's your dream travel vacation destination? Where do you want to go? And I'm like, well, I've been to a lot of places, like the main ones. I feel like Italy and Spain is usually, I feel like Italy is usually people's dream.
Yeah,
I don't know why.
The
So I've
food,
done I've done a lot of the top ones, but I was like totally random, but South Africa. It's like, why? And I was like, penguins.
Duh.
So now we're actually gonna go to South Africa and see the penguins. And the place that we're staying at is actually the property that they used on the Netflix TV show.
Oh, that's
On the
awesome.
documentary. So it's
Yes.
the exact same property where all the penguins were waddling around. That's where we're staying at. They're
That's gonna be
supposed to
fun.
have like a full staff there for us, to cook and do everything. So I'm just really, really pumped and
Yeah.
excited for everything except the flight.
Why not the flight?
Dude, the planes keep falling off the sky. What do you
Don't
mean?
tell me that because I hate flying. Don't tell me that shit because I hate flying.
Dude,
please.
it's like,
I don't even want
I
to have
don't
that
know.
conversation.
There's
No,
always-
no,
dude, there's
no.
always-
Dude, I just now got over my fucking flight anxiety, so I don't want to hear it.
just take a gummy. I don't know.
I've taken not gummies. I've taken all kinds of medication, and I'm so like, oh, like any little turbulence, I'm like, oh my god, we're gonna die.
Dude,
we're dying.
okay. So turbulence is fine.
Yes, I know.
What you have to worry about is when you're falling down.
When you're
from
free
the
falling?
Yeah,
Yeah.
when you're free falling, that usually means it's not fine. They're trying to figure
Well,
something out.
They said you could be in a bubble or something like a air bubble. Like if you, I don't know what. Maddie is like sleeping and she's like reading a book, and
Yeah.
I'm like, she's like, babe, hey, if we die, it's just gonna be
It's-
fast. I'm
yeah,
like,
it
no, what the,
happens.
don't. Why do you even say
I mean,
that?
it's gonna.
Like,
If
hell
you,
no.
it's like that Buddha thing, right? If you suffer, it's because you want to.
No,
like it's
hell
gonna
no. I'm
happen.
suffering because I'm like quenching my butt.
Okay.
I'm like,
Wait.
dang.
Fun question. If you were in one of those like plane crashes, like it crashes into the mountains, right? Like
Yeah.
there's that one
Would I eat
Netflix.
Would I eat human?
Yes,
yeah,
would you eat
100%.
human? Would you
Yeah.
eat human? Why?
If everybody's eating it,
Why
I would.
did you know? That's a
Because I've
thousand
seen
where I
that
was
movie.
going.
I've seen that movie. I saw the original one about
Okay,
the
so
the,
you would
the athletic team.
1,000% like just like nibble. Like
I eat
just,
a lot of meat, so can't be
yeah,
bad.
but you would never ever be the same
I
as a
would start-
human being. Like
I would start with their testicles, then
Or
then the liver
Dude,
and the brain and the
why
heart.
the
'Cause that's the healthiest part.
no?
Just like the healthiest part of
Really?
an animal. It's the liver, the heart, testicles.
That's of a healthy animal. You're like eating someone,
Hey,
and
if
they were
somebody fit-
vaping. They were one of those like wake up and babe. You know those people that when they lose their babe, they're like,
yeah.
you're like eating someone, and they were vaping, and they had all these diseases, and you're like, this
I'll
is
check their bags. I'll check
I'm
their.
like, the
I'll
testicles,
check. Yeah.
the healthiest. I don't know. And
I would,
like
though. I think I
an
would.
average male American man, I don't know. I wouldn't. I don't know. I don't
probably would,
agree with
though.
that. I don't know.
would. I would eat. Yeah.
Here's the thing. I don't think they have proven that it really helps you to eat. You can go like 2 weeks without eating.
Yeah, you can technically.
Technically.
But not water.
Not water. But then you just
If you're
eat
in
the snow. Yeah, you eat the snow.
Yeah, if that's the thing.
I don't know. It's a tough one. I feel like they might have to force it down my throat. And I would, like, I'd be like, oh, I don't want to. But like, no, I don't want to.
But then,
I'm like, don't do this to me.
so how long are you gonna be gone for?
It's going to be 9 days.
9 days. That's gonna be fun. 'Cause
Very
I
long
invited you to
flight.
our 4th of July party.
Yes,
said I
you
can't
did
go,
invite, and I was like,
whatever.
I'm not gonna be here, but we do have a long layover in Amsterdam, which I'm really, really excited about. I went to Amsterdam once for about 3 days, and I went for Valentine's Day,
Okay.
and I was completely single, just
Oh.
with a friend group, and I kept seeing all these couples like holding hands. I'm like, I'm gonna push someone into the canal. I just
Get the hell out of here with that
not a
shit.
good, because you think Amsterdam, like, oh, it'd be fun,
Yeah,
you know, to go
yeah.
single. Not in Valentine's Day weekend. Wouldn't do that again. So I feel like I get like a redo now. I'm like, look,
Yeah.
Amsterdam, I have a boyfriend now.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm back. Well, Leslie, we're at about an hour, and I just want to say thank you so much. Was it what you expected? I know you kind of like, wait, I didn't know it was gonna be like a podcast. Like, what the heck?
1 hour went by so fast.
Right? It does.
Yeah, but there's one
And you
thing
weren't
I'm
nervous
good
at
at.
all.
Not
Talking.
shutting up.
Yeah.
Not shutting up. Yeah, if you get me started. So I'm glad you got me started.
Yeah, thank you for coming. So if people want to reach you, wholesale, flipping, lending, real estate, any questions, how can they reach you? Tell the camera right here.
So you're going to put little letters,
Yeah,
right?
we'll put all this stuff for you.
Okay, it's going to be Leslie on the move. It used to be Leslie Sells Vegas,
Yeah.
Leslie the lender. Now we're back. Leslie on the move.
Leslie on the move. Okay.
And then, should I give my phone number? Am I
If you
going to
want.
get weird calls? If I get weird calls, I'm going to patch you in.
Yeah,
you're going to
hey,
handle
reach out to
that.
Ivan. Yeah.
Reach out. I've had that happen.
People, I mean, your
before.
number's online.
It is online, which is horrible because
Yeah.
the conversation. I got some dude fired from his job, but
I
that will
saw-
be
I saw-
on the next episode of. He called me and was saying all these nasty things, and I was like, "Look,
You found out
can-
where he worked.
yeah, I found out where he worked. I said I can guarantee you 2 things: A, I have more free time than you. B, I have more money than you. And C, I'm gonna find you. I'm gonna find
And you got him fired.
And I did find him. I did call his job, and then he got fired. He never called. He was calling me mommy, which I thought was so disrespectful.
Oh, what the
I'm
heck?
24. I don't look that old.
You don't
like
at all.
it
Not
was
at
just
all.
rude. It was just yeah. But 702
Okay.
483 8379.
You're doing it. Email?
For-
Oh, no, you don't have to give email.
No email.
Okay.
I don't want pictures. And business only.
Yes.
Please be warned.
Yes.
Kind of like Taken.
Yeah.